did was like Sunday dinners or whatever. So he asked me to dinner, and I'm sure I said like yeah or something like that. And then he walked out of my house, and I locked on that door, and I went into my bedroom, and I locked that door, and I hid under my blankets, and I sobbed my eyes out. I was like hyperventilating. I was like freaking out. I was in there for over an hour before I was able to like do anything else than that. And I texted my sister. At the time, I didn't act like she didn't believe me, which is crazy because she didn't believe me for a second of my life. Generally, she wasn't a very nice or kind woman, so I was.
Alright, what's up with y'all? So look, man, I'm back again with another video, and before I jump into the video, I definitely got to start this off with some positivity. I want to tell all my supporters out there that's rocking with me day to day on a consistent basis that I definitely do appreciate y'all, and I hope that everything is going the way that you want it to go in your life, and I wish y'all nothing but the best in every aspect of your life, and I'm sending y'all nothing but peace, blessings, and prosperous energy your way. And when I say this, I'm only talking to my supporters, those who reciprocate the same energy back to me, and to those who say the same thing back to me in return. And now look, this situation right here is crazy as hell. It's been going viral in different places and things like that. And I had to go find a video that's a full video about the whole situation. So we're gonna go ahead and get into this. But basically, long story short, it's a situation where a person's adoptive dad said that they were in love with her. That's what the title says. Now I don't know what's up with this, but you know, like I always say, man, pay attention to certain things and certain mannerisms from people. And I always realize that everybody ain't thinking how you're thinking. You can look at someone in a certain way and they looking at you as prey. You know what I'm saying? You can look at them like someone you love and they can despise you. So many different ways that you can twist this up. But overall, like I said before, pay attention to everything and everyone. And I always remember that just because you see a person in some type of way, they might not see you in that same way. But let's go ahead and get into the video and see what the hell really going on with the situation. But if this is true, this is sad, it's predatorial, and I feel like that everybody out there who does things like this is very sick and demonic in my personal opinion. You're going out here adopting people to groom them to be your spouse or whatever the case may be. That's lame and weird as hell. But hey, we don't know exactly what's going on with this whole situation, and that's what we're here for, to see. So let's get into this, and we're going to talk about it because this seems like it's a lot to talk about. Let's go.
I literally don't even know where to start, but I'm probably going to start with the most traumatic, which my adopted dad, like, that was the most traumatic. And get this, listen, okay, so when he came over to my apartment to tell me that day, he like rang me up and he called me and he's like, hey, can I like come over and talk to you? And I was like, okay, sure. Had a gut feeling. Think that I'm crazy? Swear to God. Had a gut feeling. Get off the phone with him. I'm anticipating his arrival. I'm like peeping through the blinds. I have this gut feeling. I'm sick to my stomach. Then I hear, I go sit down, hear the car door slam. Go look out the window, see him walking up. I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say. And you're like, oh, how'd you know what he was going to say? Because he did weird my entire life. And I gaslit myself into thinking that maybe it wasn't weird because I didn't have a dad, so I didn't know what that relationship was really like. Okay, so I lived on the second story. He had to walk up 2 flights of stairs, knocked on my door. I'm sweating. Like, my anxiety, like, is so bad. I let him in. He sits down on one couch. Well, he's pacing a little bit, sits down on one couch. I'm sitting down on the other couch. And he's crying. And to think of, my adopted dad was born in the 60s. He was a country guy. He was like, you know how guys from the 60s are, how old dudes from the 60s are. So like, I think I maybe saw him cry like once ever. So I thought he was having a mental breakdown and he couldn't even speak. And I was like, say it. I was like, just say it. Say what you're going to say. Like, almost forcing it out of him because I was afraid that he wasn't going to say it. And I wanted to know what he was going to say. I really should have recorded it, but so he says, Laura, I'm in love with you. Look at me dead in the eyes with tears rolling down my face. Knowing me, literally, I'm gonna have to show a picture of me whenever I was 6 years old, but I was like, he's known me since I was like as tall as my knee. He's like, Laura, I'm in love with you. And I was like, oh, I love you too. And he's like, No, I mean, I'm in love with you. Like, I would love to marry you. I'm telling you, I'm freaking out in here. But it is also giving me clarification on everything that has happened throughout my time knowing him since I was 6.
Since she was 6 years old, he knew he liked her from the beginning. He knew what the hell he was doing from the beginning. There's no way in the hell he didn't know. He was out here looking for a damn prospect. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel about this. And I don't want to hear nobody trying to argue back and forth, man. People be so manipulative and so conniving to the point where you can think that they're doing something that's positive. They want to help a person. They want to do this and do that. But they have an ulterior motive in their mind. You feel what I'm saying? And she said that he been doing weird shit their whole life. I don't know exactly what's up with that part, but I definitely wouldn't agree to him coming to the damn house knowing he's been the way that he's been. But, you know, little weird shit don't just mean that you came out and did certain things too. So, you know, you can give somebody the benefit of the doubt. And like she just said, she was gaslighting her damn self. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, let's get back into the video. I just heard her say that and I had to speak on that. Like, ain't no way in the hell he been liking this baby from the beginning. There's no way in the hell I can grow an attraction for someone that's been in my care since a kid. There's no way in the hell I can grow that attraction. That's some weirdo shit. Let's get back into the video.
Years old. I blacked out after that. Blacked out. I remember him asking me, because I lived like 5 or 6 blocks away from my childhood home that I grew up in. I remember him asking me to dinner because it was the weekend. They were a horrible family, but one thing that they generally did was like Sunday dinners or whatever. So he asked me to dinner, and I'm sure I said like yeah or something like that. And then he walked out of my house, and I locked on that door, and I went into my bedroom, and I locked that door, and I hid under my blankets, and I sobbed my eyes out. I was like hyperventilating. I was like freaking out. I was in there for over an hour before I was able to like do anything else than that. And I texted my sister. At the time I was married to a man, but anyway, I texted my ex-husband and I was like, you're not gonna believe this. If you don't believe this, I'm gonna leave you because this is up. So I texted him everything, and before I gave him a chance to even read it or respond, I was like, no, I need to talk to somebody. So I call him and I tell him every single detail. Mind you, my ex-husband was not a good man either. That's another story, an equally as traumatizing story. But anyway, I was on the phone with him and he was just like, he's like, Laura, you must be confused. Like, imagine a man sticking up for another man, but he's like, Laura, you have to be confused. There's got to be some, and he knows my history with these people and my adopted dad, but he's literally like, no, you're confused. There's no way. I hang up on him.
Facts.
I call the most important person in my world, which is my little sister. And I tell her, and she's freaking out too, because she has.
Hold on, this video about to end. I gotta find at least a part 2. It says part 1, so let me go see what I can find. I'll be right back. But I do want to know your thoughts and opinions on that situation. And I feel like that the husband probably just couldn't fathom the fact that this was coming out to be what she's been saying so long. But I definitely want to try to shun that away from her, and I would have been in full support. It's just me personally, you know. I mean, now if it was somebody else, I wouldn't know what to believe. But me being directly associated with you and whatever type of relationship we did happen, yeah, I definitely gonna ride with who I'm rocking with. You feel me? But hey, hold on, I'll be right back. Let me see what I can find. But yeah, look, all right, okay. I got 2 more parts of the video, part 2 and part 3. So we're finna get into this. I want to know what the hell is going on. Y'all know when I get invested, I got to see exactly what the hell is happening. So let's get into this. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this whole situation. It's crazy as hell, and I hate that she went through this. And if you have been adopted and people been weird to you doing anything that you don't appreciate or you don't like or you feel any discomfort, I sympathize with you, and I really hate that that did happen to you. And they deserve everything that comes to them in life, because you already know nothing good will come to these people. They're sick, demonic, and they're weird, and they're very predatorial in my personal opinion. I don't rock with it. People are innocent. They have a genuine love for certain people, and you out here want to bone them and stuff like that. That shit crazy as hell. He definitely deserved to get his ass whooped for bringing somebody into his home and having lustful thoughts about them, and they've been with you since they were 6. That's crazy. Let's get into the video though.
Experiences. So, where So I had told my little sister, we had a long conversation about what we should do. Because we assumed that if we told my adopted mom that she wouldn't believe us. We had told her about multiple incidences during our teenage years and childhood, and she didn't really believe us. One time she kind of did, but then she sat us down in the kitchen with them and she's like, this is what the girl said you did. Are you doing this? He's saying no, that we're mistaken, that we're wrong, that it wasn't intentional, da-da-da-da.
What was he doing?
And that was like the end of it. But the fact that she set us down in a room with him, we were scared shitless. Like, it was hard for us to, like, muster up the courage to, like, talk about it with her, let alone, like, in front of him, you know? So, in the end, we settled on telling her, despite our reservations. We just didn't know how she was going to handle it. So, I called her and I let her know that I wanted to come over and talk to her, but I asked her if she would come to the back porch and be quiet. Like, our back porch was off our kitchen. It was like an indoor back porch. It's where our laundry room was, but a lot of important conversations were had out there. But so we get there. She is already waiting for us, and she's like, what do you guys want to talk about? And I just spill it. I'm like, this is what happened. He called me. I ran through everything that I literally just told you guys. And she acted shocked. She seemed shocked, and she was pretty upset by the information. She said that she didn't act like she didn't believe me, which is crazy because she didn't believe me for a second of my fucking life. Generally, she wasn't a very nice or kind woman, so I was stunned that she did anyway. And she kept saying that she can't believe she didn't see the signs because she was a victim of child SA. She was, which is also not my story to tell, but and so she told us that she thought that we needed to leave, that she had to have a conversation with him, and they fought like crazy, like our whole childhood, and we just knew that it wasn't going to be good. So we excused ourselves. She said that she didn't act like she didn't believe me, which is crazy because she didn't believe me for a second of my life. Generally, she wasn't a very nice or kind woman, so I was stunned that she did anyway. And she kept saying that she can't believe she didn't see the signs because she was a victim of child SA. She was, which is also not my story to tell, but and so she told us that she thought that we needed to leave, that she had to have a conversation with him, and they fought like crazy, like our whole childhood, and we just knew that it wasn't going to be good. So we excused ourselves. She ended up calling me the following day and saying that it's done. Like, she kicked him out, like he's gone, and I'm like, where did he go? And she said, like, I don't know, probably to Georgia, because that's where his family's from. He didn't actually have any family in the state that we lived in. All his brothers and sisters lived in a really small town in Georgia. So that's where he went to. And I was shocked. I was absolutely shocked by her doing that. She never, like, she did not protect us from anything our entire lives, no matter if we spoke up or not. And she actually was just as much of an abuser as he was. Like, the stories I have about her are just as crazy and just as wild. Honestly, I feel like I handled that whole situation really well, but like a week after it, I wasn't handling it very well. I was actually felt like I was like spiraling, and I was like full of anxiety, and I just wasn't doing good. So the phone calls that she was making to me, I wasn't answering. I wasn't answering the text messages, and she thought that she kept saying, are you blaming me? Do you blame me? Do you blame me? And yeah, I did. Like, she lived with that man, I don't know, 20, 30 years. She knew how weird he was. She convinced him to shave our hair off my sophomore year, my little sister's senior year, to make us less attractive.
This says a lot right there. And I want to say this also, that people know their spouse. They've been with these people intimately, you know, in certain situations where nobody was around. So many different things that took place in their lives to the point where they know who they're dealing with, you know. That's why certain people act certain ways when they hear certain things about their spouses and things like that, because they already know what's up with them. And I'm pretty sure he done did some weird stuff to her, around her, and to other people in her presence also, including them. And I feel like she had a possibility of being jealous of them. Now, no disrespect to your mother and things like that. If y'all run across this video, if y'all really rock with her and y'all love her, y'all give her the benefit of the doubt and things like that. But overall, I got to keep it real. You know, I feel like she was jealous of them. She knew that he had a like for them. That's why he was doing certain things that she was saying to do, because he knew what was up too. Like, he knew that she knew probably as well. But overall, ultimately, I feel like that, you know, these people don't have the best interest all the time when they going to adopt children, and that ain't what's up at all. That's really some sick, weirdo type of stuff, in my personal opinion. I feel like that they didn't deserve this, and I feel like she knew everything from beginning to the end. She just played dumb. She just, you know, when people love somebody so much, they will overlook certain things. Like they say, somebody can really like you, but they really, really like you when they start making up lies for you in their own mind. You get what I'm saying? And I feel like that ain't what's up. Once you see certain things in a person that you don't rock with, that don't sit right in your spirit, get the hell away from them. But sometimes they be okay with it because they be having the same type of stuff going on within themselves. You know what I'm saying? They have that same lascivious thought process and spirit inside of them. I don't like the way that they was treated. I don't like what was going on. And this is not something that's new. I know somebody gonna say this ain't something that's new. It don't matter about none of that. It's just the fact that it's being brought out to the public, and people need this awareness. You feel what I'm saying? But let's get back into the video.
Less attractive to a grown man. So back to what I was saying, I wasn't answering phone calls and texts. I think I went over there once, and like I was there for a few hours, and the entire time we were talking about that situation, and I just didn't want to talk about it. So I just really wasn't talking to her that much. Well, when everything kind of settled back down, I have no perception of time, but I want to say 3-4 weeks later, I was ready to talk. I was ready to have a full-blown conversation. So my sister and I called, and our childhood number, our phone number, was disconnected. The number that we use for like our Kroger and like Speedway pin, it was disconnected, and it hadn't been since the 90s. So we were a little bit freaking out. We didn't know what was going on. So we got in the car and we drove 5 blocks from where I lived, and we saw a U-Haul. When we saw the U-Haul, we could only speculate what was going on, honestly.
Right.
I literally didn't know what was going on. I thought, oh, maybe my adopted dad is coming back to get all of his things, since he left in such a hurry. So that's what was going on in our head. Drove back home. We drive back like a week later, and the house is completely empty. No cars outside. There was a pole barn in the backyard that was like packed to the brim with stuff, because they were practically hoarders. They literally never threw anything away. So it was stacked up to the ceiling. So the door was open, nothing inside. So we like park, we get out, we're looking through the windows. It's spotless. There's nothing in there. There's nothing in there at all. So after a little digging on my adopted dad's siblings' Facebook, we found out that they packed up our entire childhood home, took my little brother and my nieces and nephews, who I helped raise, and they dipped out of the state that we were living in and took off 15 hours away. Bought a compound, and that's where they resided, and that's where they continue to reside, not my adopted mom, because she passed away in July.
Damn. R.I.P.
But yeah, took my little brother that I also helped raise, and I haven't spoken to him again since I was 21.
That's the end of her story, man. You know, and I just feel like it's a sad and unfortunate situation that they went through this. If I see any more videos pertaining to this, I will add it, or they will already be added, you know, before I even speak right now. But overall, you know, I feel like that this is sad, bro. It's crazy. And you know, they're gonna be dealing with this mentally and spiritually for the rest of their lives. It's gonna mess with their trust, you know, their spiritual vibes. It's gonna mess with everything, you know what I'm saying? And I hate that, bro. All this turmoil for nothing, you know, because a person wanna be weird as hell, in my personal opinion. But hey, I wanna know your thoughts and opinions on this situation. Be careful and mindful of everything and everybody that's around you, especially if you got children, man. Be watching everything. Pay attention to everything, because people have so many different things going on within themselves to the point where, you know, they can hide it and they'll take it out on other people just to keep a good, you know, face with you and things like that. But overall, that's all I got to say about the situation. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it, and I will holler at y'all later on another video. If you made it to the end, I definitely do appreciate y'all, and I will holler at y'all later. All right.